The saying, never bet against James Cameron, has become even more popularized over the last few years since The Way of Water's release. The Avatar has no cultural impact people certainly lost the war with that film since it still grossed well over $2 billion. And I fully went into Fire and Ash with the expectation, which was set up by the filmmakers, that this was going to be a bold, emotional, and often challenging new direction. And at times it sort of is, kind of. Given how much Big Jim has been soft launching this potentially being the final entry in the franchise, at least for a while, and for how crammed and rushed much of Fire and Ash is, I think, and if I'm being completely honest, James Cameron probably thinks too, that this might actually be the straw that breaks the camel's back for a lot of people. I'm sure the film will still cross the $1 billion mark, but for Avatar standards, that's far from enough. The new film follows the Sully family, who, while still reeling from the death of their eldest son, now face off against the both human military and a ruthless fire-worshipping Na'vi tribe run by the diabolical Farang. As far as visuals go, this is somehow the most stunning of the three movies. When The Way of Water came out, it was pretty difficult to imagine any area of that film visually being topped, but Fire and Ash is once again on a whole new playing field. My screening was in Dolby 3D, which is Cameron's preferred format for the film, and the high frame rate blends so much better this time around, and the 3D is sensational. It's no secret that Zoe Saldana is these movies' secret weapon when it comes to performances. Everyone puts in great work, with Una Chaplin being an incredible addition to the cast, but Zoe Saldana's performance in Fire and Ash is so wonderful that it warrants her Oscar being re-engraved to properly reflect her work, and erase the legacy of whatever the hell Emilia Perez was. The score is also a massive improvement over The Way of Water, whose score seemed to be more of a best-of compilation from the first movies rather than its own thing. There are brand new full songs, hymns, and motifs in this score that complement the previous two films, but emphasize the darker tone of Fire and Ash beautifully. Now let's talk about that darker tone for a second. There is an action sequence about a half hour into the film that is so thrilling and has such an immediate, gravitational sense of stakes to it that it really started to make me nervous in the best possible way. Unfortunately, the film never quite reaches those heights again and resorts to quite a few story and character arc retreads from the previous two movies. I'm going to be as vague as possible with these points because a lot of my issues with the film tread into spoiler territory, and I obviously won't go there this early, but I will unfortunately have to concede 1 point to the stories in these movies suck crowd for this one. It's definitely the most plot-heavy of the three movies, which I appreciate. Characters are split up into groups for a large portion of the film, and each group is working towards its own goals. But what's annoying is that all of these things are just plot points from the first two films repackaged for this one. There's a military whale hunting subplot, a sacred homestead under threat subplot, a terraforming subplot, you name it. If the first two films did it, this one's got it. Admittedly, the thematics of this one are also more dense and unique from the previous two, which makes the character arc retreads even more annoying. There's one character in particular whose arc in this film is essentially the exact same one, beat for beat, from their arc in The Way of Water, and the only problem with that is that that arc was complete by the time Way of Water was over, so it's almost entirely regressive here. There's even some moments and action sequences that are blocked like shot-for-shot remakes of stuff from the first two movies, just with the improved VFX on display. The whole thing just kind of plays like a hodgepodge of ideas thrown into a blender without a ton of care, and it feels like James Cameron got nervous about this one being forced to be his last, so he crammed every idea he ever had into this one to get it all done just in case. A lot of the thematic emotionality of the film rests on the shoulders of Spider's character. He was already one of my least favorite parts of The Way of Water because of the young actor's performance, and the dialogue written for him wasn't really doing him much of any favors either, and unfortunately, Jack Champion's acting chops have not improved enough in between movies to have this much of a role in parts of the film most desperate to make you cry. There is one scene with him in particular that is supposed to be a huge emotional bookend for a specific arc, and any feeling I may have had and should have gotten was stifled by his, I hate to say, really bad performance. I think how you're going to react overall to this one really comes down to your attachment to the franchise already. I know that my screening overall was really split. The people that walked in excited mostly left happy, and the ones that walked in irritated left irritated. I'm certainly more mixed on it than I was hoping to be, but I still plan on seeing it again at some point, hopefully this weekend. The visuals alone are more than worth the price of admission, and a second watch of a movie this gargantuan is almost always required to make sure you're soaking everything in, warts and all. Thank you guys so much, as always, for watching the video. Once you get a chance to see the film, let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comment section. Stay tuned for more reviews in the near future, as well as some end-of-the-year recapping in the coming weeks. Thank you all again. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. I will see you all so soon.